Welcome into episode 20. Before I go against Sin, I wanted to quickly talk about one fiend creation in Monster Arena. Could you believe this creation can be defeated? This is Chimerageist, and it's unlocked by capturing Calmland's fiend pool. At first glance, this fight looks impossible, but it all comes down to one thing. Chimerageist follows a strict attack pattern. First move, Megiddo Flame. Second move, either Blitzara or Thundara. Third move, normal physical attack. And fourth move, Aqua Breath. Then it loops. Every single move in this pattern is elemental except for the normal attack. And that attack hits like a truck. We saw over 8,000. But for the rest of the moves, I already had a armor for them sitting in my arsenal. As well as Null Blaze, Null Shock, and Null Frost cover the first 3 elemental hits. For Aqua Breath, I just swap in as well as Null Tide. That's it. Like its counterparts in Macalania Woods, Albert Home, and the Calmlands, Chimerageist's first move is random. One of those 4 attacks, but after that it locks into the pattern we covered. I could use stronger gear here, I have some proofs, I have some elemental eaters, but I wanted to show this with weaker accessible gear. This thing can be beaten the moment you reach Calmlands. For me, the real danger is that first physical attack. Chimerageist is power breakable though, and that's huge. Without power break, it can just liver shot you for 8,000 plus damage, and you cannot avoid that attack with evade and counter weapon on. The problem is turn economy. I barely have enough time to get protect up, heal UG, and get guard up before that first normal attack lands. So I needed that first hit to roll low enough for me to survive. The loop also kinda needed to start so that the normal attack is the last action it uses in the order. Once power break is applied though, the fight stabilizes completely. From there on, I just have to stay in SOS range for the elemental hits and shield before its physical hit. The battle is long, 120,000 HP is a lot, and why would you even want to do this? Chimerageist can drop a elemental eater armor insanely early. And against bosses like Lady Yunalesca, where traditional healing can instantly become your worst enemy, Elemental Eater lets you do something wild. You can be zombied and still heal yourself by eating the element instead. It's a nice piece of tech, but a really interesting one if you want to spice up a run. Now for me there could be even more defeatable stuff in Monster Arena creations, but for now I'm gonna continue the story. And I don't need to farm Chimerageist, I already own a couple Elemental Eater armors. Alright, back on track, it's finally time for Sin. We start with Sin's arms, left side first. From far away, Sin isn't threat at all. As long as I don't hit it, it's likely to just spam. Sin remains motionless. So I take my time here. Full preparation, every buff known to man. Then we pull the ship forward.
We're going in!
Sid yells a few things, and we're in close combat. This fight isn't difficult, so I save resources and just throw fire gems for damage. Sin's first real attack, the Ram, lands for about 650 damage, but it causes heavy delay. That's the only scary part in this battle, because delay lets Sin chain turns just like Evre. And you can see it here, 2 Rams back to back, then a wasted turn with the Sin remains motionless. That's exactly why I equip Audio Potion armor. If Sin ever strings together a full Ram combo, I survive it every time now with the Shaman Targe on. Then we just go in for the damage. Gravija does a percentual damage, so that should be no issue. Even the shell buff I threw in seems to help against it. So the arm battles, or the fin battles, left and right side are pretty simple. The only thing I have to look for here is the move called Negation. Sin can use this move to strip your defensive buffs. If that happens, you must reapply them immediately back on. And oh, you can steal Supreme Gems from Sin. That brings my total to 61 now. Here you can see the auto potions making sure I don't die to these Ram combos. Even a simple high potion is well enough to keep me alive here. I was kinda surprised that this battle was this easy. I was expecting Sin's delay attacks and its high damage output to be a problem. But this battle is actually not that bad. Left arm down, right side next. I never saw the negation move on the left side, but it can happen. I only saw that move on the right side. And miss it once and you get rammed for 1,400 straight into a reset. But I came back, locked in, and this time we push into the phase 3. Since both Jinace in the front, Core in the back, and yep, mistakes made. I didn't finish the right arm fight with the Vanguard on, so I had no first strike here. And of course, all buffs I had previously stripped. Jinace opens with Venom, 1,438 damage. Game over. Lesson learned. The difference first strike makes, look at this. With first strike equipped, I get the speed up immediately. So haste goes on. Protect follows. And shield for Venom. Now Venom rolls 363. The difference is massive. Core skips its turn. Now the Venom cost poison, so I heal it off and also threw in the 2 times HP for safety. Jinae's trashing move. Yep, that name is doing a lot of work. 814 damage with the protect. I'm done playing around, the shining gems come out. Jinace hides in its shell like the Kilika Sin spot. But nah, move out of the way. Beating Jinace is actually optional. You can just rush the core. Sensor shows 36,000 HP. More shining gems. I'm not redoing airship fights anymore. Now, one noteworthy move here is the Gravija. I believe it's similar to the previous one the Fiends used. Here it drained 3/4 of my HP, whether that's max or current, I'm not sure. Shaman Targe triggers auto potions. More gems fly out. The core's other moves are jokes. Check steals, stamina springs. 3 normally, 4 on rare. Everything seems to be under control in this battle. I wanted to showcase my supreme gems. The first one lands for 9,843. Core barely alive. I throw in another. This time it reached the damage limit of 9,999. Overkill. The boss battles remaining on this challenge are tough, and I need to keep up with them. Now the left arm, right arm, and the core battles are done. And the last thing waiting before going inside Sin is the Overdrive Sin. And I want this clean. No overdrives used. However, Overdrive Sin will test that statement for sure.
Rico, aclamar!
It's going to come back, isn't it?
I know.
What? You're kidding me.
Crusaders would be out of a job if it was this easy, huh?
Sid's reaction is great here. What? You're kidding me. No, Sin is still alive. First thing in the battle, I set the speed up. At first, Sin is too far away, so I just wait. Are we moving or is Sin coming closer? Actually, who knows? Once I'm in the range, it's simple. Supreme Gem spam. The goal is simple. We need to do 140,000 damage before Sin's overdrive gauge fills. And while you're at it, Sin isn't idling. It chips in attacks, but the Shaman Targe keeps me alive and saves me turns so that I can focus on just spamming Supreme Gems. During the battle, I quote-unquote waste 1 turn equipping Sensor weapon. 61,000 HP left. Overdrive gauge at 55%. Trust the process, yeah? Praise be to Yevon that this strat is strong enough to deal that 140,000 before Sin's mouth is wide open for that game over. Supreme Gems flying, gauge climbing, and if it reaches full, Sin will use the Giga Graviton. Giga Graviton? We used to call it Giga Graviton. Anyway, you cannot protect against that move and it's a guaranteed game over. And right before it, Sin falls. No overdrives needed. So the Supreme Gem spam was just enough. And I'm happy to announce that the no overdrive stays labeled in this challenge. Now I loot up. There was a decent amount of loot obtained from all of the ship battles combined, armors like Zombie Brew, and weapons like Stone Strike. But now we move inside Sin, and Titus yells, "Follow me!" This section is always a blast, but yeah, I'm turning on the minimap. There is no chance I'm fighting the next safe spear this week without it. And this is where I decided to give you a little extra. I usually cap episodes around 10 minutes, but this one's going longer. So if you're enjoying the run, hit that like button like it's Blitzball Tournament Final and Yevon's watching. Firstly inside Sin, 3 Horryman right away. We've beaten these before way back in Gagaset Cave, so this one's more of a reintroduction rather than a threat. Dream Biter goes out, all 3 land straight into the ground. They actually don't have a lot of HP. After 1 Poison Fang, one of them is already done. Smoke out the second one, and the last one, I still go for the capture. It's a good warm-up for what's coming next, especially since it's been a while since I've taken a proper random encounter. Next up, 2 Geminis, also susceptible to sleep. That's the opener again, followed by Poison Fang, and once that lands, the ticking starts. What's interesting with these is that they show up as a duo, but they each absorb different elements. That Poison Tick though, that's the highest I've seen so far in the entire run. 7,200 per tick. When they only have 36,000 HP, that kind of damage makes sure the fight doesn't last long. Once both are poisoned, I start looking for the capture window like usual. I do some quick maths and decide to heal the Sword Gemini with 2 high potions. It's sitting now at 6,200, so 1 more high potion and another tick, and that lines it up perfectly. Easy capture. Here's something I didn't know at the moment. Even though they have the same name, they're counted as separate fiends for the monster capturing. So here for the other one, I let the poison ticket all the way down. As I'm making my way deeper through this place, I already know there's a couple chests I need to grab here. But the next encounter was waiting already. 2 Extra Rays and an R-Man. And yeah, these fights could be an absolute nightmares if sleep didn't work here. But that guy works here. Some of these battles can still be skipped entirely with the Petrify Grenade, even as late as we are in the game. But I need the captures, so I one-shot the first Extra Ray with the Farplane Shadow. The R-Man gets the shock treatment. Now for the capture. Sensor on, the remaining Extra Ray is sitting at 6,361 HP out of its 7,400. Poison goes on, ticking for 1,850. HP gets a little awkward here, so I lean into Lancets for controlled chip damage. Poison ticks again, antidote to remove it. Now it's slowing up. Couple more pulls just to be safe. And that's a clean capture. No pollen, no nonsense. Extra Ray's fate is the Farplane Crate. Finally starting to reach the chests. Next big one, Adamant Toys. And yeah, you guessed it, Dream Biter again. Poison works on it too, which fits perfectly into the same combo I've been using the last few episodes. Now it's got 54,400 total HP and immunity to Shadow Gems. But with Sensor on, I can still track everything and line up the capture, hopefully. One thing I do here is I test my normal attack damage, 130 per hit. Note that number for later. But now, back to sleep. I waited for the poison to take it low, then eventually clenched it. Came in with the grenades for chip damage and even Lancets. Switch in the Iron Grip, the capture weapon. It's under 130, so I go for the capture. 41 damage. Oh yeah, I had piercing on when I checked my damage earlier. And right on cue, Earthquake comes in and one-shots UG. Lesson learned, I'll keep that in mind. Shortly after, I finally grabbed the Phantom Ring. Fire Eater, Lightning Eater, Water Eater. Huge pickup and more Elemental Eaters to my arsenal. More big fiends now, Behemoth King. Truth be told, the first couple of fights against this thing did not go well. It hits hard, as it should. Immune to sleep, immune to poison, immediate problem. Heat alone hits for 4,500, so buffs are mandatory. On top of that, it's a fairly rare encounter, so every attempt matters. From here on, I prep my gear as if Behemoth King is the next fight, every time. Lightning Breath goes on immediately since Thundara is in its move pool. I basically need either Thundara or a normal attack at the start of the battle, just to give myself time to set up the full Survive Heat package. Looking for Behemoth, Adamant Toy shows up for a rematch. We're already at the end of the fight here. I messed up the damage planning again, this time RNG on my side. I finally captured Adamant Toys. I was just waiting for the Behemoth King to show up, so that it can get to the Farplane Crate. Every battle starts the same way. Buff UG, shield its turn. This time it opens with a normal attack. 646 damage. That's perfect. More turns for the setup. Double HP online. Throw in a Mega Elixir. Now I don't have shield up here, which I absolutely should have. Heave without a guard means a reset, but instead it chooses Thundara. Lightning Brew saves the run. Now it's standing tall with a 67,500 HP. Supreme Gem starts flying out. Once it drops below 33% HP, it will always use Mighty Guard on its next turn. After that, it starts using Tail and Flare instead of normal attacks and Thundara. The heave stays in its move pool, and that threshold number-wise is 22,275 HP. If I push it below that, I'm guaranteed one turn of Mighty Guard. Here you can see Heave becoming survivable only if I guard it every time. If it spammed Heave endlessly, I'd never have the time to do anything else, just heal and guard. I even throw Regen on. If it ever used a normal attack, Regen would completely cover the damage. Whenever I get a window, I throw Supreme Gem. Sensor stays on. Heave spam is annoying, and I either need Thundara or a normal attack to make progress here. First attempt at phase 2, I drop it to 17,700 HP with the Supreme Gem. I wasn't fully aware of the pattern yet, so I guard even though Mighty Guard is guaranteed here. That wastes a damage turn. I prep, regen, max HP, and a guard again. And it flares. 4,706 damage. Instant wipe. If I let that hit, that move is not survivable with the current gear in place. And it's very likely in phase 2. Second attempt with a plan this time. I chip it very close to the 22,000 HP threshold. The idea is to push it quickly down when it's close to that threshold with the Supreme Gem so that I can hopefully capture it with the physical attack. So this gem crossed the threshold. So I throw in another Supreme Gem. And it's looking like I have a decent amount of turns here. So let's see. This time it's not a max roll. It's 9,531. Now I have to calculate everything manually. No time to waste turns re-equipping sensor and then back to capture. This is full calculator mode. The third Supreme Gem would kill it outright, so I need something smaller. So I lean into Fire Gems. But the problem with the Fire Gems is that the ticks happen so fast that I can only estimate the damage. Now it's the Mighty Guard's turn, and that Protect buff makes things even more annoying. My attacks are already weak, and now it's weaker. Now I have one turn, 2 if I risk throwing something first. I don't know if it has 1 HP or 500 HP. So I take the risk. Normal attack with the Iron Grip. 117 damage through Protect, and that's it. Behemoth King captured. That one was genuinely tough, easily the hardest capture inside Sin. Looking back, I could have used Power Break to reduce heave damage. It was wasting a lot of time. Maybe Reflect could have helped against Flare too. Interestingly, I never saw the tail move below the 33% threshold, so I'm not fully sure how that move works. And with that, episode 20 closes. I walk up the stairs, see more ominous waits ahead. Elemental circles turning, magic everywhere, and one move still unseen that might decide the entire challenge. All of this backed by what is arguably the greatest track in the entire Final Fantasy X soundtrack. I'm more than ready, because what comes next might be the last boss, or the final boss, and whether this challenge survives past that point, I honestly don't know yet.
Well, we can't.
By all means!